heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also.
You see it? He said, there's something working in my life there, Junior. You connect to God, get the grace he has to offer. And that grace that you got connected to God is also at work in me. And he said, and the grace you see in my life, I want you to take it because it's been proven. Other people have seen it. It's tangible. My life has been changed. Sure. I used to persecute the church. Now I'm helping the church. Amen. I was a renegade and a rebel, but now I've been harnessed by the presence and power of God. Now I'm under his government. And you've known it. You've seen my work, my ministry. Amen. He said, you commit thou to faithful men who should be able to teach others also. Don't do anything. And see, this is what, because we live in a technological age, and everything is high-revy in the area of independence, and people have an entrepreneur spirit, and they like, they like to be pioneers, and they like to, live out on the edge, and some of that stuff is trickled down into the body, and we don't understand interdependence. There's a lot of independence in the culture that's in the earth. And if we're not careful, we're bringing it to the church. But Paul is letting Timothy know that it's something that's in my life that's been verified by many witnesses that you are worthy of. And then I want you to prove what I have given to you and transfer that lifestyle to somebody else, because it's about a lifestyle. That's basically what it's talking about, right? Talking about a lifestyle. And this is probably wasn't easy for Timothy, because you got to understand, Timothy had his first start over there in the book of Acts was rough.
Yes.
He was a Greek. He wasn't a Jew.
Yeah.
Timothy wasn't a Jew. So Timothy never felt the knife before. Timothy was a full-blooded grown man just about when he came across Paul. And Paul had to cut him, circumcise him. Because it was some of the Jews saying, he ain't circumcised, how are you going to speak to us? The reason why I bring that up is because he said, my son, and I believe that Paul knew how to handle the knife.
Yes, sir.
And you can't be a true son unless you come through the knife. Yeah. You ain't been cut. If you haven't bled enough, then you might not be a son of something. You might be a son of a gun. Maybe not a son of God. But you're a son of something, son of Sam. But I'm looking to take what I carry, because right now it's in incubation, it's in germination, it's the totality of what God has actually given me. Even what I share with the men is I'm seeing in segments. I'm seeing I don't think I could handle it. At a certain stage in my life, I couldn't handle what I can handle now, and I had to mature in this grace. But now it's the point that I'm not necessarily ministerially inclined, but I'm looking more of a relational aspect. You get what I'm saying? Because I've drunk from out of that well. I've been, like he said in Proverbs 5, drink water out of your own cistern. I've drunk water out of that well of being relational and being connected and being in covenant. And it's done, I know for a fact, a lot of the things I get, through study, consecration, whatever all that entails, I pray and all the other things that people tell you what you need to do to tap into certain sources and certain streams and venues, places of enlightenment. Like Revelation, trying to get Revelations. They tell you what you need to do in order to tap into the throne, the flow. And I found out it came out of relationship. My greatest increase came out of relationship. My greatest increase came out of relationship. So it was imperative that I value, and one of the things in order for the technology and the blueprint God has given me, it has to come through impartation. That's the key. If you want to really benefit from the kingdom, you got to understand impartation. You got to understand impartation. Tell your neighbor, you got to understand impartation. All of us had it. We got impartation from the throne when we in Pentecost, Acts 2:17-18. It talks about the impartation that will come on generations. Say your servants and your handmaids. Remember that? So I will pour out my spirit upon you, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall see dreams. And on my servants and handmaids, that's an impartation of the Holy Spirit. And Pentecost came in the earth. Now that thing has been passing from generation to generations. Am I right? Yes, different variations, nonetheless the same Spirit. Am I right? And that is the very essence of true impartation. That impartation comes to us, even in this house, to repair the waste places. Go to Isaiah 58:12. I'm trying to run through it because I need to get to something else. It's important. It's important that we have impartation. Can't transfer it. I mean, I think you can get an impartation if you buy books and you get somebody's CDs, or you get excited about their ministry and you sow into them and stuff like that. You get measures. You get a measure of the impartation. But you don't, the full impartation is through serving.
Yeah.
Through serving. And your motive has to be right in serving. Your heart has to be right in serving. Amen?
Amen.
Isaiah 58:12.
And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places, thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the paths to dwell in.
Every generation should have this as their anthem. Every generation should have this as their anthem. What is the anthem? I'm going to build the waste places. I'm going to raise foundations. I'm going to be a repairer of the breach. Anybody remember what I said the repairer of the breach was? Write this down. How the repairer of the breach is our identity.
Amen.
Then there are paths to that identity. The repair of the breach is our identity. Remember Jesus said, I came to seek that which was lost.
Yes, sir.
What was lost? Our identity. Yeah. So the repair of the breach is people that are going to restore our identity, our significance. Yeah, and if I say this other part, I know y'all better get it. Okay, we're going to play the double dutch. Ready? What is our identity? Christ in us, the hope of glory. What's the term for Christ in us, the hope of glory? What term?
The image.
It's one term. Start with an S, end with a P.
Sonship.
There you go.
Oh.
Sonship. That is our identity. That's the bonus package. Everything else is connected to sonship.
Okay.
We're not careful, we get stuck in the impart realm, and we get caught up in the 5 and think that's once you get one of the 5, you done struck it rich. That's gold. You done hit it down. No, it's not gold. Because even I found with immature 5-fold ministry gifts, because they haven't understood the impact and the significance of sonship. Sonship is it, man. Your insecurity, your inferiorities, and all the other stuff, I'm telling you, you will come into a rest when you understand sonship. You wouldn't have to try to be trust me. And I'm not saying you won't have problems, but I'm saying as far as identity,
Yeah.
you don't ever have to get another person to say nothing to you as it relates to your identity.
Come on. Amen.
But we got to restore the past. And the only way we're going to restore the past, the only way any church is going to restore past, because every church is given a certain allotment of time in a region for repairing and restoring. But first it must start with them. And the only way it's going to happen, the greatest boundaries you can have to restoring past is culture. That's the boundaries. How we do it. You remember a long time ago we talked about foundations, and then we talked about culture, how we do it. And foundation is how we think. So the melios, that's what foundation in the Greek means. The melios, where we get the word theme. What's the theme? That's the theme. The restorer of the past to dwell in. And that's what we got to have. We got to have that in this church. That's why we can't be passive. That's why we can't be nonchalant. And that's why I'm not passive or nonchalant. I understand now the significance of legacy and posterity. Let me just read what I had in my notes. Over time, one's custom, the set beliefs and behaviors will reproduce or produce a culture. All legacies are preserved by culture. Don't fool yourself. You can go to Kojic Church You go to a culture church in Joliet. You can go 5 years later, you can go to a culture church in Florida. You can come in and say, man, you won't even have to see the label. Am I right?
Yeah.
You can just tell when you can tell when the pastor get up and his verbiage, his vocabulary. Am I right? You can tell by the songs that's in the house. You can tell by how the setting is. You can tell who sits where. Come on now.
Yeah.
Because that's a culture. And it should be. It's only thing about it is that culture needs to always upgrade as it relates to the kingdom. Because what it does, it predisposes God's headship and it puts leadership above God's headship. That is the problem we have in churches. Is that it's the elevation of leaders and not the cultivation of headship. So the culture in this house, which one, y'all? Which one? All right, y'all. Woo, boy. It's all about headship. Of course, you need leadership to connect you to headship. You know, a church without leadership is reckless. Before long, it's going to be anarchy. Whenever there's no rules and no guidance, no oversight, anarchy is going to happen. Because sooner or later, somebody's going to get a taste of power. Sooner or later, somebody can get a taste of power, anointing, gifting, and then they want to step outside of the box and you know, they want to buck the pecking order. So the foundation of this culture are centered on core values or principles and are transferred to succeeding generations. So there is a method to this. It doesn't just happen. We're going to bring some path to dwell in. We got to have culture. See, ultimately, the core values and the belief system and the culture is going to enhance the ministry because we have something tangible to offer. Therefore, we have a measuring stick. It can't be all just, we're going to just have the Spirit of God do what He wants to do in the service. It just doesn't happen that way.